What does that sound, you ask?
From the number one station, you come.
Welcome to the Rec Show podcast, a show dedicated to beatmakers around the world. Kick back, relax with the host Gldnmnd.
Yeah, what up, what's going on, everybody? Gldnmnd here, and welcome to another episode of the Rec Show, number 34. What up? What's going on, y'all? Hey, we just vibing, man. So, listen, man, I hope everybody's counting their blessings and not their problems, staying blessed, taking care of yourselves, all of that stuff, man. For my artists, man, I hope y'all taking care of your mentals, man, and being creative, directing your energy towards the positivity in this world, man. And we got enough negativity out there, man. Don't even entertain that rest of that nonsense, man. So I appreciate you. And with that, it's going to be a New Jersey native. Again, I'm sticking with the New Jersey natives, you know what I mean? He goes by the name of Nimzo. You can find him as Nimzo Beats on social media, man. And yeah, man, he's an artist. He's a collaborator, beat maker, all that type of stuff, man. So welcome to the show, Nimzo Beats. We're going to vibe out to his music. We're going to get to hear from this man and, what he's about and, all that type of good stuff, man. So the interview is coming up as well. You're going to hear his beats, man. So y'all vibe out, man. Go ahead, like this. Leave a comment if you can. Share this on your socials, all that type of stuff, man. We're going to be back. Peace and love, yo.
Yo, this is Nimzo from New Jersey, and you are plugged into the Rec Show podcast with Gldnmnd. Let me show you.
Yeah, man, that was Fresh Style, man. Listen, before that was Endangered Species. Yo, we rocking with Nimzo, alright? Nimzo Beats, beatmaker out of New Jersey, you know what I mean? We gonna get right into the interview, so let's get into it, man. Yeah. Yo, so what up, Nimzo? Yo, for all the beat heads and in the internets that might not know you, man, go ahead, introduce yourself, where you're from, you know, what your name means, and how your name was created.
So I came up with my producer name, Nimzo, back in 2015 when I started producing again after about a 10-year hiatus. And I came up with this name because I was looking to tap back into the original source that I had, you know, when I started producing when I was 15 years old. And this was even longer ago than that. This was about 20 years ago. So thinking back to that time, I had this AOL screen name, which was Nimzo. And the Ebe was Extraterrestrial Biological Entity, EBE. And I combined that with Nimzo, which is the name of a chess grandmaster who invented a famous defense, which my father had taught me. So kind of combine these two together, and then, you know, thinking back during that time when I was producing and as I'm trying to come up with a new name back in 2015, you know, I just really liked the flavor that I got from Nimzo. And so I took that on as my producer name.
Yo, that's dope, yo. Chess grandmaster, yo. Shout out to your pops, man, yo. So, like, let me ask you, like, how did you begin your journey into music, and like what was that one moment that sparked your interest in making your own beats?
My journey into music started like probably a lot of others. You know, my mom was always playing music, and she used to listen to a lot of late 50s, early 60s pop and late 60s soul, and, you know, was always on family parties and stuff. So that's where I first like really got into music. And then when I was around 10 years old, I started playing drums in the school band. And the reason I was playing drums is because we couldn't really afford any of the other instruments. So a drum pad was like $20. So convinced my mom to buy a drum pad, and I was able to get in the school band. And I played in the school band until I was around like 12 or 13, at which time I started getting into hip hop. You know, this is now the early 90s, and Tribe and Cypress Hill and Gangstar really starting to pop, and it was all over, and I just started getting into hip hop, started listening to hip hop all the time. And then by the time I was 15, I started rhyming and doing the MC thing, and then from there it just became a necessity that I needed beats. And so there was this cat around the way I had met from doing some ciphers who was also a beat maker, and he had a SP12 that he was looking to sell, and it was pretty cheap, like around $250, which is incredible now that I think about it. And so I bought it off of him and pretty much taught myself how to use it over the course of a couple of months before it ended up burning out, literally burnt up to a crisp. And then a few months later, the DJ I was working with, Audio Arcade, he ended up buying an SP1200, and then me and him started using that to produce.
2 featuring Farnell Newton and Cartoons, man, with 2 R's, yo. Yo, again, man, listen, we back with Nimzo Beats, man. Thank you for joining the show again. So, yeah, let me ask you, like, creatively, like, what goes on in your mind as you hear samples or sounds you want to use in your music and your beats production? And then I ask every single artist this: melodies or drums first? Like, which ones do you start with, yo?
First thing I think of when I hear a sample that I want to use is it just evokes a color in my mind, and that color brings across a certain mood, and then that's the mood that I wanna capture when I make the beat and when I start messing with the sample.
That's dope.
Other times I hear something, and through some different processes and techniques of manipulating it, comes out to be something I couldn't have imagined but really dig. And so, that's like the exploration into a sample and what you can really get out of it. So, but also the first thing I'm going off of once I manipulate that sample is, again, some kind of color mood combination. And once I get something that's feeling right, that's when, if I started with the sample, then that's when I'll go for the drums and start trying to put together some drum pattern. On the flip side, sometimes I just want to start out making some drums, see where that takes me, and I usually can get some kind of drum beat going that I like, and then I'll start maybe digging for sample from there. Or not dig for the sample, but, go into what I had already dug out and made note of, and then say, all right, let me go back to this now that I got a drum beat, see what it sounds like over the top of a drum beat.
It's trial and error with everything, So, yeah, that's why I asked, man. It's always good to get a different perspective from different people doing it, you know what I mean? And doing it to a level that y'all are doing it. Like, y'all are way better than me at these beats. So that's why I'm asking these questions, because it might be other people out there that want to know these questions and just figure out different techniques and stuff like that for their own sound, But yeah, man, I appreciate that, yo. So, like, what DAWs or analog gear do you use to create your music? And like, specifically, like, why those specific ones? And like, what is it about those tools that help you express your creativity,
So my main DAW is Ableton, and that's what I've been using now for, I'd say, the past 4 years. Before that, I was using Studio One. Prior to that, I was using Adobe Audition. And my analog gear has been pretty consistent over the last 4 or 5 years as well. Basically, SP1200, MPC 2000, SP404SX, and then I've had the Moog Sub 37 and Mellotron. So these are pretty much my go-to combos when I'm producing.
This is Jazz Ali, and you're listening to The Rec Show with Gldnmnd.
Yeah, man. Yo, right now you checking out Sunday Bops. I know y'all feeling this, man. I know y'all felt that track before that, which was called True to This. And the track before that, which was The Blue Chief. I'm telling y'all, these are just morsels that we're giving y'all so y'all can dive even deeper into his discography, to Nimzo's discography, man. Check out his Bandcamp, man. Support on Bandcamp, you know, Apple Music. Streaming is cool, you know what I mean? But the funds that you get when you buy music helps him and others make more. Like, you can do more with direct support, you feel me? So anyway, let me get back into the interview, which let me ask you, like, Nimzo, like, Notes from the Underground and Renaissance Theory are two dope, amazing projects, and to me they contain like major replay value, which is something every beat maker, and I know every beat maker can contest to this, man, strives when creating. Like, they want people to keep playing it over and over and over again. But what were your muses when you were creating these? Like, and then, like, speak about creating during the beginning of a pandemic and its benefits to your creativity. And I know that's kind of like oxymoronic to say that. Like, how you gonna say it's beneficial when we going through these changes to the way we move about and interact with each other and stuff like that? But, you know, I really just want to get your opinion about it, you know?
I mean, when I think back on those two albums, Notes from the Underground and Resonance Theory, they do come from really two very different times in my life. And even though they were very closely together, and that's because they, you know, one was pre-pandemic and the other one was, you know, right in the throes of the pandemic. And the way I was feeling prior to the pandemic and how I was feeling during was very, very different. And I think Notes from the Underground is definitely nostalgic. And I was going for, you know, some vibes. I was, you know, as always, just kind of chasing vibes that I used to feel back in the day, but putting little twists on it here and there and to keep it new. And I think I was experimenting a little bit on that album with, you know, doing like just getting this feeling out of winter coldness, but at the same time warmth, being inside and sitting over, you know, a glass of wine or a cup of coffee or a blunt, whatever it may be, and just, you know, reminiscing on times that where you learned something or where you went through something tough and grew out of it. Then talking about Resonance Theory is more along the lines of definitely feeling the effects of being isolated during the pandemic and, definitely needing to express some kind of aggression that comes with being trapped inside and not really being able to express yourself. And so I feel like that album is very aggressive, and it did help me get through what I was going through at the time. And so, both those albums, and just like all my albums, they definitely center on what I'm feeling at a particular time in regards to my stance towards the music and to what's going on in my personal life. And that finds when I can express, in my personal life, the way how I'm feeling it, then I need to turn to music to get that expression out in that way, so it's released. Because if not, then it's bottled up, So if I'm feeling a whole bunch of aggression, there's nothing I can really do about that in the real world without suffering some negative consequences. So I take to music and I just transpose that feeling into music, and that's how I do it.
That's like the best way to transfer your energy, right? Because we can either be one of two things. We can be going through something and transfer that energy into, something creative and expressive, or we can do it and turn that energy into destroying our own self and the things around us and the things we've built and stuff like that, man. So I like that perspective, man, on how you put that, yo. So let me ask you this question, like, again, as part of our job is to teach the younger generation or whoever might be listening to this podcast, like, about our culture, right? So about hip hop. The 5 elements of hip hop: DJing, MCing, breaking, graphing, beatboxing, right? But which element did you begin your journey with? Like, what was that experience with when you were like, yo, this is amazing, and then learned later, like, this is hip hop, yo?
My first exposure to hip-hop culture was definitely in the early 80s, like 83, 84, and just seeing my neighbors, breakdancing outside their houses. I'm trying it and liking it, and I remember doing it, for a year or two during the summer. Not anything serious, but it was just something that we would do for fun. So that was kind of my first experience with hip-hop without even really knowing it. Then later on, as I became a teenager, I really started listening to the music and hanging out with people who were, fashioning themselves as MCs. And so, I started rhyming, and that's when I really got into it. So definitely the MC element is what I latched onto and what got me into hip hop. But I have a love for all the elements of hip hop, and definitely each one has its place and unique contribution to the culture. Absolutely.
Yo, respect the 5 elements of hip hop, man. And for those that don't know, go ahead and do your Googles and get your research on, man, to understand this culture. And if you partaking in this culture, you better understand its history. You feel me? But anyway, so let me ask this question, because this is a new game I created called Superheroes. You play it by naming your childhood, teenager, and adult beat maker or music producer superheroes. And major key alert, no genre is off limits, alright? So it could be any genre, it doesn't matter. If they are your superheroes, name them. Put their name out there so people can go dig it, you feel me?
Beat making superheroes, definitely as a teenager, I'd say my beat-making superheroes, from the 90s when I was first coming up in it, definitely was RZA, Primo, Q-Tip, LP, those are definitely the dudes that I was listening to the most. Now, when I came back at it again, many years later, and then seeing how the scene had unfolded from, the early 2000s into where we were at the time, around 2015, started studying the history of that scene. And I'd say right now, probably my biggest beatmaking hero is Dibia, just to, see how consistent he is with how he can use any different type of production tool, and really freak the fuck out of it and get a sound that is just banging and, shows everybody doesn't matter what tool you use, if you know what you're doing, you can get fire out of anything. And so, and not only that, he does, he's a family man, and, he's out there, he's, doing his thing, and I can respect that, and I just really like the way that he handles himself out in the scene. He's definitely, one of the people that brings the scene together, establishes a sense of community, gives back. And so I would say he's my hero now.
Hey, this is Strong Maurice, and you're listening to The Wreck Show with my guy, Gldnmnd.
I'm talking about the blues now. I ain't talking about monkey jump.
Blues were here when the world was born. Everything come from the blues.
Blues come from way back.
Everything come from the blues.
It's a rare record. It's a rare record.
Welcome back, y'all. You're listening to Glass Houses. Again, man, check out his discography, man. We talking about Notes from the Underground. There's a big chunk of this track, this episode, Renaissance Theory. You got some other joints on there too, man. So check out his discography, Nimzo or Nimzo Beats on Bandcamp. And yeah, man, I'm gonna put the links in the description of the show, so don't even trip. All right, what he say? Don't even trip, homie. Don't even trip, homie. I got you, yo. But before that, you had Battle for Earth, No Monkey Junk, and Waves featuring Nimzo, Sim, and Audio Arcade. All right, so. Yeah, let's jump back into this, man. So, Nimzo, like, now that you're a little older and wiser, what advice would you give the younger you when you first started making beats? And what would be your, like, inspiring words to artists being creative while working, maybe working 1 or 2 jobs right now to support themselves and still trying to create and be creative, you know?
If I could give piece of advice to my younger self, it would be do not stop making beats in 2001 because that's when the scene is about to take off, you know. I was making beats through the mid-90s and through the Jiggy era and stuff like that, and I just had gotten, you know, tired of where that scene was going. And I also wanted to explore some other kind of music, you know, learn instruments. I started learning piano. I started learning guitar. So I pretty much stopped making beats for a good 4 or 5 years, beginning in 2001, just when the scene was like really about to take off. As far as some advice to artists who are out there working 1 or 2 jobs and also trying to do the independent artist thing full time, I never tried to be a full-time independent artist. When I started making beats again in 2015, I was just doing it because I love doing it. And when I had the opportunity to start releasing some of the music, you know, that was just gravy. But I never was in the mindset like I'm going to leave my job and become a producer. So, you know, so that's never how I thought. That's just because, you know, I'm older and I have my profession, etc. So I have the luxury and the liberty of being able to do this for fun. You know, and that's what one of the piece of advice I always give everybody is just make sure you're having fun with it, because if you're not having fun with it, then you're not coming really from an authentic space, you know. Even like my most depressing or aggressive songs, you know, it's still like fun. When I made it, you know, I had a lot of fun in making those songs. So if you're ever not having fun, then you need to take a break. Step back, don't try to force it, and if you love it, you know, you'll get the motivation again, you'll be inspired, and then you take to the stage.
Yeah, man. So let me ask you, like, in your opinion, like, how do you think artists such as yourself can benefit from, of course, total control over your music, which is ultimately what we should all be striving for, but sometimes we don't, man, and we lose out on those benefits of what it can create, royalty wise and down the line for our kids and kids and stuff like that. And then what do you think about like the distribution of it, especially with the emergency technology such as blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, Web 3.0 that's coming out? It's coming, it ain't stopping. Y'all need to get hip and get hip quick. You feel me? What do you think about that, yo?
Case is still out on whether artists are going to be able to benefit greatly from Web3, crypto, blockchain, etc. Early returns look pretty good and interesting. Seeing some people being able to sell some NFTs for a lot more money, than they would perhaps get from streaming. But at the same time, it's a little bit in its early phases, so you can't really trust what you're seeing yet so much. You don't have enough of a sample size. But, a lot of artists, I think, tend to see it as the next evolution and a way for them to kind of get free from the chains that have been imposed by Web 2. But a lot of people thought that about Spotify, too, and that never happened. A lot of people thought that Spotify would free independent artists and, give them more equity, more freedom, but I haven't really seen that happen, only for a very small handful of people. So I think it remains to be seen with Web3, whether or not it's going to kind of follow that same path where it only becomes something that's free and equitable for a small amount of people, or is it going to be widely available for all artists to leverage?
Gldnmnd. You're checking out the Rec Show with Gldnmnd. Peace.
Yeah, so Nimzo, man, first of all, I want to say I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate your insights and your man, how do I put this? Just the way you're able to express yourself during this episode, and saying yes. First of all, I appreciate that, and you're willing to give jewels to anybody that's listening right now, and anybody that may be listening in the future. Y'all got to think about it, man. Not everybody around the world is tapped into the internet yet. It's only a small minority. So as more people come on, more people are going to hear this and, tap in, and, it's just going to be an explosion, I think, man. So anyway, like Nimzo, what should the internets look out for from Nimzo in 2022? Like, how can people tap into you, into your music? Go ahead and plug your socials. Anything you got coming out, any collaborations that you might have had done, or you want people to check out, all that type of stuff, yo. Let me know.
My last release was back in June 2021, dropped a 2-song EP called The Great Filter, which you can get on my Bandcamp, nimzo.bandcamp.com, with all my other releases. And coming up in 2022, I have a release scheduled for March with Inner Ocean Records. This is going to be a 2-song EP with Yutaka Hirosaka, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, y'all look out for that, man. Look out for Nimzo and Inner Ocean Records. I've been paying attention to Inner Ocean Records ever since I got here to Japan, so shout out to them, man. I've been trying to get to that Osaka shop, Inner Ocean Records. If you're listening to this and you can send me them I'm trying to get there, yo. I'm all the way in Fusa, one of the prefectures in Tokyo, so, but, you know, this COVID-19 shit is keeping me from getting there, you feel me? So, Inner Ocean, man, if y'all listening, our brother would love some of the cassettes. I've been trying to get down there so I can get some of those Inner Ocean cassettes, exclusives, visit the shop, all that type of stuff. So anyway, man, yo, shout out to you, Nimzo Beats, for saying yes to the show. I appreciate your time, appreciate your effort. People that are tapping into Nimzo Beats, tap into his Bandcamp, nimzo.bandcamp.com. And yeah, man, Jersey Stand Up, another one in the books. And yeah, we're gonna tap into you a lot more, Nimzo. So keep doing your thing, man. I appreciate you. And for all the listeners out there, go ahead and like this, subscribe to it, make this a part of your podcast when you listen to the podcast on your trips to work and bus rides and around the house when you're cleaning, all that type of stuff, man. When you wake up, go ahead and tap into it, man. So yeah, we're gonna do more things, man. More coming on the way. And yeah, man, peace and love to everybody, and I'm gonna see y'all on another one. This is episode number 34 of the Retro Podcast with Nimzo Beats, man. I appreciate y'all. Count your blessings and not them problems, you feel me? Pow, 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 pow.
They tell like younger kids or other dudes like, that's cheating. You can't really do yourself with your girl. Like when it comes to this producing shit, you can do whatever you want.
You've been listening to the Rec Show podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Remember 3 things. Believe in your music. Take care of your mental. Become the best version of yourself. Until the next one, Gldnmnd signing off. Peace and love, yo.
To be the best, you got to work overtime. To be the best, you got to work overtime.
And these young boys get better.